Hello, hello, hello. I am Ronald Odom Jr., founder of Better Hospitality USA, and this is Hospitality Matters. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are going to have a great conversation. We have an amazing guest joining us as well. So please stay tuned. If you haven't already, please tell a few of your friends that we are having this live stream about the future of the industry. And make sure that you're on our website, subscribing to our page if you're not already a subscriber. So let's see if we can give people another second or so to join us. We are starting, it's right now 8:04. So if you are already in, thank you again. As I said, my name is Ronald Odom Jr., and I'm the founder of Better Hospitality USA. Uh, so, so I made the note that I was going to, do the intro in like a 60-minute style. This is Hospitality Matters, but I decided not to do that. So, as I said, we are having our live stream tonight, continuing our conversation about the future of the hospitality industry. We had a conversation previously with Chef Jay Young of Cajun NYC, and that was an amazing conversation. We talked a lot about things that we've seen over the last year when it comes to safety, regarding COVID and hospitality, and also the lasting impacts of the pandemic on the industry. That's a huge conversation to unpack. So each week we will be coming together on a live stream to have that conversation and hopefully have you engage in that discussion. So we want to hear from you throughout the show tonight. We will have opportunities for you to put into the chat or in the comments any questions you might have about the subjects we're discussing, or if you want to ask myself or our guests for the evening a question, make sure you're putting those things in the live stream. And you can always, even after the live stream, send us an email to askbh@betterhospitalityusa.com. So thanks again. Thanks again. I want to go ahead and make sure that you all know that these live streams are being done for you, the industry, the community, the people. Better Hospitality USA is all about the people. So I want to make sure that you all know that these opportunities for us to come together, for us to share our thoughts on where we are as an industry, how we can make improvements and changes. These are all things that will better us as an individual, as a professional, but it's also something that can make lasting impacts to the industry. So I want to know, I want you all to know that these live streams are created for you. So please make sure that you're sharing that information with all of your colleagues and people in your network. So let me ask you, how are you? How are you doing? How has this weekend been? And is your Monday off? Well, I guess it's almost over now, but was your Monday a good start to your week? So message me, let me know, give me a report, let me know how you're feeling, how you're doing, how this week's been going. If you're watching on if you're watching a live stream on YouTube or on Facebook, do know that we will be able to see your comments in both locations. So you can participate with the conversation there, and we will answer those questions as best we can. I also want to just start off by saying thank you to my team. I have a beautiful team of people around me. I have in studio with me Pedro, as well as Paul and Echo producing the show remotely. I am so eternally grateful for all of you. This could not be done without you, so I want to start off by just saying thank you. This journey that we're on with producing the show has been an adventure, and I'm excited to see us continue to make progress each week. So, for those of you who joined us, as I said, I am Ronald Odom Jr., and I'm the founder of Better Hospitality USA. And Better Hospitality USA is an organization that serves the community. We are for the people, we are about the people, and we are by the people. Sounds like FUBU or something, right? No, but Better Hospitality was created to create a space where like minded professionals could come together and also share knowledge and education and support and encouragement and motivation and resources and really collaborate. I think that collaboration is so important. It's super, super important to collaborate and make sure that we are supporting each other in that. So we have in Better Hospitality USA a community of professionals that believe in the importance of being passionate about hospitality, providing a excellent guest experience, but also continuing to educate ourselves about the industry, about those soft skills and those hard skills. You need the knowledge, the food and wine, the beverage, the service knowledge, but you also need leadership, professional development, helping to be a leader in your property. Um, if you could, I just want to take one moment. Paul, if you could put up the BRB for 1 second for me, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for your patience. Sorry about that. So taking care of a small technical glitch there. So we are back. As I was saying, Better Hospitality is a network. It's a community of professionals, and we will be providing a multitude of resources and services to you. One of which will be these live stream shows, or we'll be having conversations with leaders in the industry that can support you in your journey and in your career, as well as some educational seminars, roundtable discussions, and trainings. Other services that we offer include resume critiques, mock job interviews. So there's lots of opportunity as well. And we will be having some other engagements on social media. So stay tuned. We will be on Instagram Live regularly. If you're a member of Clubhouse, if you're a Clubhouse, I don't know what they call them, Clubhouse member, I guess. Yeah. If you're in the club, you will be seeing us on Clubhouse, and then we will be having the live streams, as I said. So make sure that you are following us on Better Hospitality USA on Instagram or Facebook. And then if you haven't already subscribed to our email, do that there. So uh, I want to ask you, the audience, where are you with your career? Are you back at work? Are you still looking for work? Are you struggling? Like, how are you doing? Please, like, join the conversation. Let us know where you are. Um, I think that one of the reasons why I want to do these live streams and why we have the guests that we have tonight is because I found that there were a lot of people that did not have the they didn't have anyone engaging them on these questions. Like, what do you need? What are you thinking? How are you feeling? Are you planning to leave the industry? Are you planning to make changes? Are you ready to get back to work and you're anxious? Are you concerned about your safety when you return to work? Are you concerned about your finances? All of those things are on the minds of many people, and I think that it's important to have a conversation about that. And so this is one of the spaces in which you can engage and we can discuss those topics. Um, so one of the things we'll be doing are temperature checks. So sometimes I'm going to just be jumping on Instagram Live or jumping on uh, Clubhouse, as I said, opening a room, and we'll just have a conversation about what's going on. Maybe we'll discuss the news in the industry, new openings, changes to capacity, and such. And so we'll be doing that. If I can get the next segment up, please. Appreciate it. So sometimes we'll go a little faster. Uh, so once again, I am Ronald Odom Jr., the founder of Better Hospitality USA, and one of our philosophies is to lead through service. And I believe that for me, what that means really is to be forward thinking and to do for the whole. I think a lot of times we operate in the solo mind, like this is what I have to do to get what I want to get where I need to be. And I think that the philosophy of Better Hospitality is really about helping the collective, helping the whole succeed. And I believe that by following that practice, we will all benefit because if I can invest a little bit more and my team members can invest a little bit more, every restaurant property, every experience out, if we can multiply that and replicate that through the industry, we will all be better for it. The guest, the consumer will have better experiences for it, and the owners, the managers will have more successful businesses and will have much more committed community engagement from their local neighborhoods and regulars because they will see the impact of a better hospitality experience. So one of the philosophies is supporting each other. So if you're in the better hospitality community, know that you have some skills that someone else doesn't have, and someone else might have some skills that you don't have. And this is a space where there will be opportunities to engage, collaborate, share information. One of those things is the the concept of the ESL, which is English or Espanol as a second language. We will be doing some weekend activity events where we will have anywhere from 5 to 10 people in a small group, just having conversations in English and Spanish, helping each other answer questions, make corrections. These are conversations that happen all the time in the restaurant. I studied Spanish for 4 years, but I'm not completely fluent. So I spend a lot of time saying like, "Como se dice in español?" You know, whatever. I know those things sometimes I don't. And I think that if I could be more fluent and have better communication with my team, we can be more successful and more efficient when we're working. So, one of the ways in which we'll be supporting each other is by those of us who are fluent in a second language, whether it be Spanish or maybe French. If there are a lot of people that want to learn French, I know the sommeliers always want to learn French. So, if you want to learn French, we can do that as well. But that is one of the things that we'll be doing. So back to what I was saying about our philosophy to serve. We serve the whole person, and we're really trying to create programs that also support the whole industry. So, I believe that that looks like us investing in people, which are you. You're the people, and improving the industry as a whole, the standard raising level of the industry, not doing things the way we've always done them just because that's the way, but really trying to always be seeking to move forward, make progress, and improve the industry as a whole. And that looks like better ran, better operated, better company culture within the industry, people being treated fairly and equally and respected and paid, all those things, but also being educated and excited about, something that's happening, a new dish, a new ingredient, a new wine, a new spirit, a new liquor that comes out. All those things are things that we can be sharing and engaging within the community. Uh, I also want to just remind you that if you are looking to get back to work, our mock interviews as well as our resume critiques are available. So please go to our website, www.betterhospitalityusa.com, to join in on that conversation, or not on the conversation, but to access rather those resources. You can go to the form that says stay up to date, and it will have an option for you to fill in how we can serve you. So if you are looking to get back to work, you need help with your resume, or you're looking for a position somewhere, if you need anything, please go to our website, betterhospitalityusa.com, and we will do everything we can to find you the resources and the support that you need. So, coming up, as I said, we have an amazing guest. I want to go ahead and prepare to bring her on. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, but I want to prepare to have her. So let me know when she's ready. Uh, she is a former management consultant in several industries, and she has worked for some of the top global brands, luxury brands, and she is a leader in hospitality. She it's so interesting that when I was on LinkedIn, just checking my emails and messages, I came across I don't know what you call it, but like an in message, I think is what they call it. But anyways, I I had been following her on LinkedIn and on social media. I had been seeing her participating in podcasts, and I listened to a few of her live podcasts, and I thought that she had a lot of great information. And she has a beautiful smile, and she made me happy, and I felt motivated and inspired. So I really wanted to bring her to our community, into our bubble, and share some of her knowledge with you. So, without further ado, please welcome to Hospitality Matters, Miss Diana George. Hello,
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 hello.
Miss Diana George of by George HR Solutions. Thank you for joining us this evening. So,
Thank you for
uh,
having me.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So, as I said, I listened to some of your podcasts for other shows that you had been on, and I'm always reading your daily quotes and things that you're posting. And sometimes I'm like, oh, do I feel like doing this? And then I see you posted something that's like inspiring, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll get back on my laptop again. So thank you for the work that you do. Please introduce yourself. Tell our audience who you are, where you're located, and your journey to today. Like, who are you and how did you get here?
Thank you so much, Ron. I just want to say, just listening to, the intro of the show and what you stand for and the philosophy, I mean, it just goes so much into what I believe. And so I'm just so thankful for the opportunity that you invited me to come here and be able to talk a little bit, because it's something that we all need to take a look at. And I just want to say one of the things that you said is that the philosophy is lead through service. And I truly believe that that's how we all get to where we want to be, is by leading through service. So a little bit about me. I have been in the human resource industry for probably about, I would say, 30 years. And I stumbled into it by mistake. And when I say I stumbled into it by mistake, I was working for Bose Speakers, the luxury brand at the time, speaker company, and I have been working for them for a number of years. I started with them, ironically enough, over in West Germany. I was there at the time. My ex-husband was stationed there, and then I was able to come back to the States. But the great thing about Bose is they really encourage their employees. They integrated us into everything that they did, and managers, they really prepared us in terms of how to engage with the employees that we had and just people in general. And that was one thing that I took with me throughout my entire career. And everything that I do goes back to that experience that I had there. And so I constantly found myself in situations where I was using my HR skills that I had at that time. And so instead of running away from it, I embraced it and decided to go totally into the HR field. It's so rewarding because I get to deal with people all the time, and I get to see life transforming things. I really get to spend time with people their entire life cycle when they come into a company. Everything from the interview process to the hiring process to, monumental things that happen in their life. It could be anything from, a birth to marriage to, unfortunately, even death sometimes. But I get to be there on that entire journey. So love what it is that I'm doing. And it's just so needed, and just great HR people that know how to bring out the best in people. So, once again, thank you. Thank you for following me. I didn't know you were kind of stalking me on the side there.
Well, I wouldn't call it stalking. I would say that when I do get on LinkedIn, you're always one of the profiles that I have in my feed that I'm always like, oh, let me see what else she did while I wasn't on. So I'm not on there all the time, but when I am, I'm always happy to see that you're posting, writing, or hosting something. So thanks again for being here. So let me ask, how has the pandemic affected you as an HR professional? Are you there?
I'm there. You went out for a second. So I think the
Oh,
question was, how has the pandemic affected me as an HR professional? So I think the pandemic has affected everyone. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, what industry, it's affected all of us. But I truly think that from an HR point, you're always busy, you're always engaged with people, but it took it to another level. And when I say it took it to another level, no one was able to predict this pandemic. We didn't know that this was going to happen. We didn't know how to respond to it because we had never had this before. So we heard the word in 2020 be used over and over again. I'm going to use it here. We had to pivot. We really had to pivot in terms of how we engage with people, everything that we had to do. And we had to be very fluid on our feet in terms of, okay, what's the next step? And so it really was a very interesting time. But one of the things that I found more than anything is you had to be connected to people. So in HR, you're already connected to people, but you had to be even more so connected to people because you no longer had that connection or physical touch. And so they need to know that you cared about them and that you were there to support them. So I found myself, just even engaging more. So having conversations with people, whether it was personal or professional, with people that I just needed to be connected to, or maybe I hadn't talked to in a while, as I think we all
Right.
had to.
Right. No, I completely agree. And I think that, especially when it comes to hospitality, or directly, which is more challenging than corporate America, is because a lot of small businesses don't have an HR team. They don't have an HR department. They don't have an HR manager that's not also the general manager or one of the owners, which can also be a conflict of interest and a challenge in itself, having to report concerns or issues within the business to the person that maybe you have the concern or issue with, or with someone that has a relationship with the person that you have a concern or issue with. So that's one of the things that I know has made the pandemic very challenging for the hospitality industry as a whole, but especially for the small businesses, the mom and pops, the privately owned restaurants that maybe have 15 to 20 or even less than 100. I've seen some restaurants that you would think have an HR professional, on staff. They have 20, 30 servers, 15 cooks. You're like, okay, this is a pretty large organization, but what I find a lot of times is these restaurant groups, they have an outsourced HR person that helps with onboarding and making sure that the documentation and the proper filings and signage is up. But then when it's part of the daily operations, you don't see those people. So your only communication with them is through remote email and phone. And a lot of people don't even know who that person is. So is that something that you could speak to if you're a person who is working in an establishment that doesn't have a on-site HR manager and they don't necessarily feel, comfortable sending an email out just to a random HR company that they don't know who it is because they've maybe not even met the person. Could you speak to that from that aspect?
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things that I do, I consult with companies, and some companies I provide that service to them. And so, I really think that it's important to develop relationships. So, whether you have an outside person that's sourcing, one of the things that should be really encouraged is just developing a relationship with that individual, reaching out to them to know who they are in case something happens. You need to get in contact with someone, and then also developing those relationships that you need to within your own company. Who do you go to for certain things, and knowing who those individuals are. But I go back to HR for me, and successful HR is about developing relationships, and everything that we do is about relationships. And so, when we say human resources, it's human for a reason. It's human and it's resources. And we always have to remember that when it comes to individuals, we're dealing with humans. And so we need that engagement. And so, even if it's an outside company, find out who that representative is. There should be a key contact person, and develop that relationship. Take it upon yourself. Even if you don't know them, get to know them, because if you need the help, they will be able to be there and kind of guide you, steer you in the right direction, and give you information that can help you in terms of navigating whatever is going on. But it
Okay,
truly is important to develop that.
okay, that's good to know because I actually I've been in that situation before where I didn't really know who to talk to, and I don't know, and like you say, like we are human, and it's called human resources for a reason. But I did feel that disconnect with the virtual because, and I don't know, I just thought about this, with the HR person being hired by the management or the ownership of the property, for some reason it just hit me that I still didn't feel that they would be impartial. I don't know
Mhm,
why. I don't know
mhm.
why I thought that, but I just realized I literally just it just processed for me that I was thinking of something like, well, if I send this email to this person with like this issue or this complaint, How do I know they're going to be on my side or they're going to be impartial? Because we don't have that relationship. So I think that what you're saying about building that relationship, maybe making a visit on site to meet the team once or twice or regularly, would be maybe a way to build that trust and that connection with the audience. So let me ask you, in regards to the impact of the pandemic on HR, and if you can guide it towards the small business or hospitality field, what do you see as the lasting changes in HR, whether that's onboarding, I don't know, conflict resolution, or issues that HR handles? What do you see as a lasting change or impact of HR on the hospitality industry?
That's a great question. And I think that we're going to see these changes everywhere. But in terms of hospitality, I think what we're going to see is that in order for businesses to run, especially small businesses and restaurants, there's going to need to be more of a connection. And so that connection, we can't take that for granted. And we've noticed that over the last year that that connection was so important. And so right now, it's going to be even more important that as we move forward, that we don't take that for granted. You mentioned onboarding. And so it can't just be, okay, you start the job, let me throw a couple of forms in front of you, and now you check everything off, and we have the compliance part of it, but we're not interacting with individuals. And let me explain to you why I say that. The pandemic, what it's done is it's cut down on our workforce quite a bit due to closures and things that were unforeseen, but we're going to come back. And so it's going to be important to come back strong when we come back. And so that means that you want to have your best people in place. That means that you want to keep your best people. And if you want to keep your best people, you have to talk to them. You have to engage in them, because I always say that a happy employee is a productive employee. And if you want
Right.
that kind of employee, if you want that teamwork, you really do need to engage the task force that you have, the workforce.
Awesome. Well, you're helping me out because that is actually where we're heading. We're going to talk about company culture next. We're going to talk about exactly what you said. Like, literally, the next line is happy people produce results. Like, that's literally what I was getting ready to say. So, you're right on point with that. I do believe that that building that relationship with your team, building those interpersonal skills and relationships is so vital to the success of any business, because I find that your team will work the hardest for you when they know that you really do care and you really are trying. It doesn't mean that you're perfect. It doesn't mean that you don't make mistakes. But if they see that you are trying to do the right thing and that you are doing what you can to help them be successful, they will do what they can to make your business successful, and they will make sure that your guests have an amazing experience. So I wanted to ask you, in regards to building that trust, what are some of the ways that management or leadership can build trust within their team and reinforce that they are ethical and operating from a place of integrity?
That is a wonderful question. And it is a very important question. And I think sometimes that we don't give as much value to it as we absolutely should. And so let me just say that if you're a manager in any company, you are the leader. And if you want people to follow you, you have to really set the example for them to follow. And by setting the example, you will build trust. But and for me, I have never asked anybody to do anything that I wasn't willing to do myself. Now, maybe based upon the job that I had at that time, I didn't necessarily have to do it, but I knew how to do it. And if my people needed me, I can step in and get in there in the trenches with them and help them do it. And I think that's so important. And so I've gone, even in retail or even in restaurants, I have been in places before where you can see that there's help needed. You can see, the staff struggling because there's too many people there, and yet you have a manager that's standing over to the side, just observing everything, but they don't pitch in to help. And so it's important that they see you as that person that wants them to succeed as well. You know that that you have their back, and that you're going to get in there, roll up your sleeves if you need to help them get past whatever hard part that they're going through right now. So building trust, and when people see that, you will build trust because they see you as a person that cares. And so Maya Angelou says, people don't know how much you know until they know how much you care. And so they have to know that you care. And when they know that, they're going to really step on above, and they will go out their way, like you said, because now they know, oh, this isn't just about they want me to do something. They actually care about me as well.
Right. And I say to that point, it's also a thing that you'll see in restaurants that have very low turnover, where their staff stay, because not only do happy people produce results, happy people don't quit jobs.
That's true.
They don't. Happy people, they don't quit jobs. If they're happy and they're being paid and they're being respected and they have quality of life, they're there. And that's why you'll see that some of those long-standing establishments of the industry, they've been around for 30 years or 40 years, and you'll have a server that's been there for 14 years. It's not because the server couldn't find another job. It's not because the server wasn't qualified to work anywhere else except for that one restaurant. It's because they have been made to feel like they're one part of a team. They are bought into the mission, and they are fulfilled in what they're doing. Now, I obviously can't make a blanket statement that that's true for everyone, but I would say for the most part, people who are happy stay in those jobs. And that's why it's also important that the leadership and the management build those relationships, build that trust, and support their team members. And I also just want to make it very clear that leadership is not only with management positions or ownership positions. It's also different roles within the team. You might be the expediter, you might be the maitre d', you might be the beverage director, or the or even a captain on the floor for service. You are a leader. You're leading a group of people. There are people that are supporting you, and you have to work together. So also make sure that you're following the same tenets of leadership that you want your management to bestow on you. Make sure you're doing that to other people on your team that you're working alongside as well, and then they will support you in your success continuing. So, in regards to changes and challenges of the industry, are there anything that you've seen or you're aware of when it comes to hiring for people now with the pandemic? I know there's some rules on asking people questions about if they've been positive for COVID, or if they have antibodies, and if they're planning to get the vaccine. Have you seen any changes in regards to the hiring process due to the pandemic?
Well, that's a great question, Ron. So, in terms of certain questions that you can ask and you can't ask, you cannot ask those type of questions itself. And so, we're going to go back to what's legal to ask. And so, there are certain things that you'll be able to ask itself. But you want to make sure that your staff is kept safe. So even in some environments where people have experienced people that have come down with COVID, part of it is you want to let everybody know that there's a staff member, but you cannot, for instance, let them know like who the staff member is and call them out by name. So you want to, and those type of rules are going to be there to protect people. The one thing that I am going to say that has changed drastically because of the pandemic and how we even do things going forward is the interview process itself. During the pandemic, everything has gone virtual. And a lot of things will still start virtually. And a lot of interviewing will still continue to happen virtually as people start to come back. And that's going to be a certain element. Now, ironically enough, before the pandemic started, I had already been doing interviewing online, virtually for years. I mean, there are companies that are out there. One of them is called Interview Stream. And basically, I used Interview Stream about 5 years ago. And it was really a way to cut down on people having to travel for interviews, whether it was the management or whether it was individuals. And it allowed managers or individuals to not have to take up so much of their time because they can get a recorded interview, take a look at it. But the one thing about that is a lot of times people don't understand how to do video interviews. It can be very intimidating. It can be daunting, and you only have that one chance. And so how do you do that? And so one of the things that I heard you say, and I absolutely love, is that you're preparing people, whether it's their resume building or other skill sets that they need. And that this is a crucial one. I work with a lot of universities on this one as well, just helping people to feel comfortable while they're on screen during that interview process. Where most of the time we're not used to being on video. And so to be on video, we're not aware of what some of the things that we're doing.
Right. Are there any specific tips, since you have experience and a background in virtual interview process, are there any tips that you can share for people that might be having a virtual interview online, like what they should do, what they should not do? Any feedback on that?
Sure, there's a few tips, and they may seem very elementary or something that everybody should know, but I like to put them out there, anyway. Of course, and we've seen this, countless times. If you're on the Zoom interview, you want to make sure from the waist up, you look professional. So I don't care what you have from the waist down. That's totally up to you, especially if you don't stand up. But from the waist up, you really do need to be professional as if you were going to a regular interview. And so that's one of the things that I would definitely say, being on camera. I can't tell you how many people will get on, on a virtual screen or a Zoom and don't put on their video. And so you want them to see you because that's the only way that they get a chance to get a little bit of insight into who you are. And so seeing you and seeing how you operate is so crucial. And you want to build that rapport with them. So it should be an organic conversation that kind of goes back and forth. And so just getting comfortable with that. And so with the platform that we have right now, Zoom, and the fact that everybody is on Zoom, spend some time going back and forth with someone and preparing for that ahead of time so that you do feel comfortable. Just facial gestures, making sure that the facial gestures that you make, because we don't realize that we're on camera. And so sometimes we don't even know that we're doing it. So I
just want to say that what you just said was to schedule a mock interview with Better Hospitality USA so you can get practice doing your virtual interview. That's what I heard you say, Diana. Did I say that?
You heard me say right. They need to contact, Better Hospitality USA, and they need to schedule that mock interview because, practice makes perfect. And the thing about it is when you do that, there is a comfort level that you bring into the interview that comes across as confidence, because if you're just doing this for the first time and you're uneasy about it, that will come across in the interview process. And you want to be as comfortable as possible.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. Now, when it comes to the resume itself, are there any changes to the resume format or information that you need, or is it kind of still the same? The only thing, and I'll add this on, the only thing I'm thinking is maybe the resume itself isn't changing, but if people are changing industries or trying to list their transferable skill sets because they are making a move, it's a lot of people making moves right now. Are there any things to be looking for on the resume specifically?
Yeah. So in terms of the resume, and what people have on there, as you mentioned, those transferable skills. So if you're staying in the hospitality industry and you've been in there a while, you're still going to use those same skills that's there, and people will see it from your previous positions. But you want to make sure that those skills are highlighted. And I think right now, what's more important than anything else are the soft skills. You can teach people technical things, but a lot of times you can't teach them soft skills. And so if you can come with those soft skills that's needed, you really become an asset to the organization and you become of value. So the soft skills are very, very important. One of the things that I would suggest for people right now is think outside of the box. You have so many people that are looking for jobs right now. So, in terms of the pool, there's a lot of people in there. How do you make yourself stand out so that people see you being different? And so, I'm going to go back to we just talked about LinkedIn, how you and I met on LinkedIn. Start using that platform because it is a great platform in terms of networking. It was designed for professional networking and it allows you and affords you to meet people without even leaving your homes and starting to develop relationships with them. And you can do it in so many different ways. And
Right,
so
right.
one
Oh,
of the
go
things
ahead.
that I'm sorry, one of the things that I would truly suggest right now is, everybody likes being on video. We've been at home all this time and being on video is so good. Instead of doing a traditional resume, why don't you do even something that's video and put it on LinkedIn in your profile area that talks about your skill set so people get a little bit insight into your personality. And because by doing that, they're like, wow, that person's interesting. Let me look and scroll down and take a look at his resume. You're doing something different that not everybody is doing. And I've worked with a couple of clients and I've actually talked to them about doing exactly that. They put together like an intro video for themselves of who they are, their skill set, what type of position they're looking for, and they posted it into their profile area on LinkedIn.
Okay. That is new. But I will say that not everyone likes being on camera. I am one who am like, is this gonna be on camera? But I do hear what you're saying, and you are right. You do need to feel that comfortability when you are on camera so that you can connect with the person that you're speaking with or who's interviewing you, and there can be that back and forth conversation without you being like in your head about being on camera. So, in regards to looking for employment, are people expected to make note of the time gaps that are there because of the pandemic? Are they supposed to be noting the like how they were discharged or let go from their last position? I see a lot of people leaving their position still on because they don't know, I guess, if they're going back. Like, I don't know, for instance, my last position, I yet don't know if I'm going back into that position when it is available. I don't know if that's an option or not. So, what is expected in terms of time gaps or changes of employment due to the pandemic?
Sure. In terms of time gaps in general, you just want to be able to explain the time gap. You need to and talk about it, and that's the transparency part. When somebody sees the resume where you don't see, the dates filled in, it's kind of like, okay, you're trying to figure it out. Just be very transparent about it. The thing about this pandemic is it's not something that only a few people have experienced. Everybody has experienced it. This is a global pandemic. So people do understand that. So having that conversation, right up front, like, you may see a gap on here. I just want to let you know this is, when the pandemic hit, they furloughed us. They may have brought us back for a little bit. And then they decided that they were going to have to close down for good. And so that's why you see this gap. So I think the most important part is be willing to have a conversation about it. And sometimes that conversation is you bringing it up before you're asked about it. So
Okay.
that's that. Yeah, that's a great thing. You have it there, you can just allude to it and before it's going to be brought up. So this way, it's like you're getting the information out there. It's not like, okay, I'm trying to hide anything. It's not like I don't want to, speak about it. It's there and be comfortable in speaking about it. Like I said, we've all had different changes and certain things as a result of the pandemic. So just be comfortable about, your circumstances as it relates to the pandemic.
Right, right. And if I may ask, I'm not sure how this works with the HR department in relation to OSHA safety compliance with the I want to say the EPA. What's the my brain just went blank. What's the CDC? There you go. CDC guidelines and OSHA when it comes to safety at work, once you get these interviews and it's time to go back to work, are there any questions that are appropriate or inappropriate to ask that someone might want to know as they're preparing to go back into work if they're offered a position? How do you say, or how do you ask, like, am I safe? If I mean, because I just feel like people are expected to assume that everyone's following the guidelines. But what happens when you get offered that job and you go in and you're like, the sanitizer has been empty for 2 days. I don't see, no, I don't think this is right. How do you manage and navigate that?
Yeah. So that's an excellent question. And it goes back to a lot of times when we're interviewing for a position, we're just concerned about being on the other side and answering questions. And I always say this is when you're interviewing for a position, you are also interviewing that company to see if they are the right fit for you as well. If it's the right fit into your dynamic, what the company culture is, because you want those things to be aligned. And I think that this is no different. So the CDC has definitely the guidelines that they've put in place in terms of returning to work. Some organizations have gone way above that, but at minimum, they should have those CDC guidelines there. And so you should feel comfortable to ask the questions. What are you doing to keep the employees safe? What are some of the guidelines that I can expect of, as a result of the pandemic, and asking that question up front. And if it is a place that you can go because it is public and people are already there, I think one of the things that I would definitely do, come in ahead of time and take a look and observe for yourself, because you can definitely see what's happening. But, our safety is at stake, and you want to make sure that you have and put yourself in an environment where you feel safe, especially you're coming back home to family and other people. So that's important. So I don't think anybody should be afraid to ask that question, and you should feel comfortable to ask it and get an answer that's satisfactory to you.
Yeah, I hear you, but I feel like there might be some instances where, not that there's retaliation, but that it kind of like, oh, is this person going to give me problems? If we don't meet some guideline, like, where is that boundary? Where is that line of the grace and understanding, that you are trying? And that, I guess, that goes back to building those relationships, as we were talking about trust and integrity and ethics. If your team sees that you're trying to follow the guidelines and you're doing what you can to meet their standards, they will feel safe, and they'll be invested also in supporting, making sure that everyone stays compliant, working together. I think that, but looking at it from, like, coming from the outside going into a new position at a new organization, maybe it can feel a little bit different, because you don't have that relationship yet. So you kind of have that uncertainty on what you're walking into. So listen, we are coming close to an end on the guest segment. If you have not already put your questions into the group chat, please put them in now. Please, you can put them in the Facebook Live, or you can put them in the YouTube channel comments. So please, if you have any questions for us, this is the time to put those in. I'm going to stop for questions in just a moment, but I have a couple more things I want to discuss with Diana before we do that. And then if my team can just let me know when we're ready with questions. I know that I'm pushing the timeline a couple minutes here or there, but while we're waiting for those questions to come in and we're ready, I wanted to ask you next about one of the things that I see as a change in the industry is navigating the work-life balance. I feel that a lot of people, as they're going back to work, like, one, they've just gotten used to being at home. And so maybe it's the first time that they actually were able to make their home feel comfortable because they were spending so much time there. I know when I first moved to New York, the first 2 or 3 years, especially, my apartment was like, it's where I sleep, it's where I eat, but I pretty much just shower and go to work, But now, having this year where I've been in this space, almost 6 days a week, skipping days without going outside and all of those things, it was very important for me to create a comfortable space to habitate, in my home. So that being said, the point of that, I was thinking about how lovely and comfortable I am in my home sometimes. But the point of that is that now when people are going back to work, they are going to be thinking, how much time am I going to have to spend with my kids? I really enjoy helping them with their homework or being able to be more involved on what's going on in their social lives and meeting their friends. I have a friend who um, has younger children, and so they always had play dates and such. But now, because they're doing things virtually and through Zoom, it requires a little bit more coordination. So you have the parents talking to each other and those things. And I feel like there are some people that, as they go back to work, they're going to want to find a way to hold on to some of those moments, hold on to some of that family time, or even some of that alone time and solitude to just read a book and sit and I mean, whatever that means for you, whether you're meditating or exercising, I think that people are going to be looking to find better work life balance as we go back. So that goes to choosing the right employer and the right opportunity for you, and being honest about what you want, because the one thing you don't want to do is commit and sign up and accept an offer to work a schedule that isn't fitting with where you are and what you need with your work life balance. I mean, obviously, everyone needs work, everyone needs to make money, we all have bills to pay. But, that's also where you find that taking the right offer, taking the right position with the right industry. It's not just, you're offered a job, it's your first offer, you just say yes because you have to say yes. There is still that balance that you have to find with being at peace with yourself and being happy with the opportunity that you're taking. Let me check here and see. Okay, awesome, awesome. So maybe you can help me with this question. One of the questions is, I don't know if my restaurant is going to come back. Should I wait and see what happens, or what do I do? Could you answer that for our audience member, please?
Sure. That's an excellent question. And so, the thing is, ideally, you may want to go back, but like you said, you're not exactly sure what's going on. And so I always say that it's easier to get a job when you already have something. So technically right now on paper, you still have a job. So I would be out there looking right now. It's okay. It's okay. And if you find something right now that you feel is better suited for your needs and that you have to take, it is okay. And I want to put that out there, and I want to assure people, because I know that right now there's a lot of instability in terms of what do I do. And so you have to take a look at, all areas of your life and what is the best decision for the areas of your life right now. And so I would certainly, and be looking for things. And I think that this is a great time as an individual to really take a look at what ideally do you really want to do. And I've seen so many people during this time frame just kind of rethink where what they're doing, where they are in their life, and what truly is going to give them happiness. And you just alluded to it earlier, Ron, with the fact that, people are holding on to relationships more. This time that we've had in the pandemic, we've been home with family and kids, and, having those family dinners and, being able to have those conversations that we took for granted because we didn't have that before. People don't want to let go of that now. They want to have that more in terms of their lifestyle. So what may have worked for you prior to the pandemic, maybe if you're really honest with yourself, maybe that does work, or maybe it doesn't. And so really being able to sit with yourself right now to see what is it that was truly going to make me happy, and start looking for something right now, start putting things out there, because every month, and even during the pandemic when it was at its height, I did a webinar on how to recover after a COVID-19 layoff, and the amount of jobs that was out there was astounding. So the media would have you think that nobody's hiring, there's no jobs out there. You just have to really redefine the area that was important for you. And it's the same thing here. So really take assessment of, your life right now, where you are, what you see yourself doing, and then really just kind of redefining and retweaking your resume, getting and putting it out there, and maybe taking a look whether it's in the same industry or something different that really reflects who you are and where you want to go, maybe 12 months from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now.
Right. So I have one more question, but before I go, I just want to make sure that our viewers know that because we are virtual now, you can be joining this live stream from anywhere. I have one more question I'm going to ask. I don't want you to go anywhere, Diana, but I just want to make sure that our viewers out there are aware that because we are virtual, we can. Join in this conversation from anywhere. So if you know someone that is in a different city, in a different state, in a different market, do know that they can join in and participate in these live stream conversations, and they are welcome to be a part of the Better Hospitality community. So if you know someone, please let them know. Make sure that you're inviting them to follow us on Instagram, as well as joining us on our website through subscription so that they can be notified of future live streams and events. And then do please support us. You can support us through engaging by being here today, by being on social media, by being in Clubhouse and being parts of those conversations and contributing to that. But you can also give what you can by donating to support the work that we are doing. We are doing what we can to support the industry and support you and help you get back to work, help your business be successful, and also just make sure that the industry, as Diana said, comes back stronger. So please give what you can by donating and supporting the work we do. You can do that through betterhospitalityusa.com/give. We also have a campaign on DonorBox that you can donate to as well. So there are other ways to engage. Go to our website. That information is there. It's also on the bottom of your screen. Multiple ways that you can engage. And then also, just so you know, the membership for the Better Hospitality community is only $15, the price of a cocktail. So if you think that you can benefit from these conversations, you like to be engaged with, mock interviews or, resume support and critiques, or you just need to build a community with other like-minded professionals within the hospitality industry, please consider joining our community and do make a donation if you can. So let's get back to our questions. Diana, the last question that I have for you, well, it's not really the last question. It's the last guest question I have for you. The last, because I have another question for myself, but the question from the guests, from the viewers. I wanted to ask you in regards to taking these opportunities with the pandemic, if you're looking to make a move, maybe that looks like upward mobility. You're trying to say I've been a server for 20 years, or I've been a floor manager for 6 years, and my next job is I want it to be a GM or an AGM. How do we set those expectations for someone that has been in the industry a long time? They have the experience, they have the knowledge, and they were at the point where they were looking for more, and now they find themselves in a situation where there's so many people in the pool and everyone's looking for a job. I mean, I know we talked about standing out and doing that video, but how do we just manage expectations and set goals when the opportunity to move up might not be there because so many people who are already in those positions or higher are also looking for employment?
So, wonderful question. And so, once again, you are always trying to set yourself so that you can stand out, so that people can see you, apart from everybody else. So, focusing on those soft skills that you have is so crucial.
Okay. What
So
are the soft skills? Can you share with the audience like what are some of the soft skills they should be working on, thinking about developing?
sure. So if you're going into a manager, or you're looking to go into a management role, those some of those soft skills involve leadership, understanding how to communicate with people. Communication is the key. It's the universal solvent, and how well you do in life will depend upon how well you can communicate with others. So communication skills, your leadership skills, your ability to get along with others, to build teams, because frankly, that's what you're doing in management positions. So all the things that you would be doing in a management position, take those skills, and if you have them right now and you've had them all along, play up in your resume to those skills and definitely show ways that you're able to do that previously. Because I want you to remember, in an interview process, people do not know what it is that you'll do when you get the job, because you don't have the job. The only thing that they can do is go by what you've done prior and what different scenarios and how you showed them that you use these skill sets in the previous jobs. And so you really want to talk about those previous jobs that you've had and how you have used those strong skill sets that's going to be needed for the current job that you want to get. So that's really important in terms of playing up those soft skills and letting individuals know, and starting, like some jobs, and in the restaurant industry, depending upon the restaurant, and I don't know about, smaller companies, you may need to start at a certain level. But one of the things that is important, ask the individual that's interviewing you, like, tell me about, opportunities for advancement. What does that look like? What is the time frame? Because you're getting this information. So now you have realistic expectations. So if they tell you, straight out, like, right now, we don't have any leadership positions available. And the people that we have here have been here for like 10, 12 years. And so unless they are looking at adding some new positions, you already know then that your chances of moving up in this organization are going to be slim, because you have a key group of people, to your point, you say like what it is that they do, so they're not going anywhere. They're there.
Right, right.
If they like what they do, they're not going anywhere. So, there's not going to be, unless there's a next step or expansion opportunities, there's not going to be anything there. So you need to consider that and take a look at that as well. That's important. So that's asking those questions about future. And so don't forget to do that. Sometimes I know people are excited at the opportunity right then, but you want to take a look at what does the future look like for yourself also. How can I grow? What are some of the areas of growth within the company itself?
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you. I want to add that one of the things that I would also look into, if you're one of those people that are looking to make moves in your career and maybe go up to a different level, find those opportunities for new openings, new restaurants. There are still new restaurants that are opening. So obviously, if the restaurant was already there previous to the pandemic, they might have those teams. Some of them are missing those leadership positions. So if you see a posting for a manager position, go for it and make sure, as you said, you're highlighting those soft skills that you have and that you're exhibiting the strength and how you bring something more to the table. Maybe that's with your personality or just your investment in the industry. I believe that with the new openings that are coming, there are a lot of owners and maybe GMs looking for support, and people are happy to have people that have diverse backgrounds and diverse experience and skill sets. So also make sure that in your resume you're highlighting those things because with this pandemic and with the tightening of the labor force and less job opportunities, there will be smaller teams, which means higher delegation or appropriating, not appropriating, but allocating rather different responsibilities and roles to different positions. So if you have a skill set where you can support with marketing or you can support with HR or you can support with graphic design or I don't know, maybe you got certified to be a COVID-19 tracing person or you're a compliance officer. All those things are things that you can be putting somewhere in your resume that show another level of skill set and something else you bring to the table that maybe some of those other applicants don't. So stay motivated, stay encouraged. There are opportunities coming, and while we are still in this pandemic, it will not last forever. So I think Diana has given us some great tips, some great things to think about, things to work on. And as she said, I did not say, but as she said, make sure that you are signing up for your mock interviews to prepare for these opportunities coming in the pipeline, that you're wearing professional clothing on the upper half of your body at a minimum. And don't stand up if you're not. That's what she said. I'm just recapping what the conversation was. No, but I think it's been really great. If you had a question that we did not answer, please put it in our email. Send it to askbh@betterhospitalityusa.com, and we will do our best to get back to you. Lastly, before I let you go, I just want to ask, what do you think is the benefit to having a space like Better Hospitality, having a space like Hospitality Matters to have these conversations and to engage? And why is it important for people in the industry to participate in the conversation about the future of the industry?
I have to be honest, I am just so blown away by your platform and what you're offering people. And so to be offering them opportunities to not only get together, but to engage, to have professional skill set, develop professional skill sets, but have conversations with other people that are in their industry so that understand what's going on and help them to know this is a wonderful platform. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just so impressed at what you're offering people, everything from the resume building, professional skill sets, mock interviewing, just having them in the conversation so that they feel supported. And I think that's the biggest thing about this platform is the support, because the people that are here, they're experiencing the same things that you're experiencing. So to know that you're not on an island by yourself, but that you're surrounded by a lot of, great people, I think there's just so much value in that. And so what you're doing, I just want to say kudos to you for offering this to individuals. And I just want to say to the people that's out there listening, and if this is your first time being engaged, take advantage of this. It's like, this is a wonderful platform, and you're offering so much to your listeners.
Thank you. As she said, this is for all of you out there that are listening, whether you're in a service position, a management position, you're an owner, you're transitioning, whatever is going on in your career, there's something here for you. So thank you for listening. Thank you to Diana for joining us. Everyone, please help me thank her for being a part of this conversation today. And if you can, please just make sure people know how to reach you. I believe at Instagram, you're at bygeorgehr on Instagram. So follow her there. As she said, get on LinkedIn. Make sure you go to her LinkedIn, follow her on LinkedIn. She's always posting great tips. So thanks again to you, Diana. Thanks for joining us. And I hope to talk to you soon. Stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So thank you all for for being in our audience today and for listening. This has been really great. We are coming towards the end of the program. As you know, if you were here for our last live stream, each week we'll have a different topic, a different conversation. Tonight we were really talking about getting back to work, things to be thinking about with HR, onboarding, how it affects the team and the company culture, and just make sure that you're doing what you can to be prepared for the future. And in regards to our conversations, please be engaged. Please tell someone in the industry about Better Hospitality USA. Follow us on social media and subscribe to our website. And just be a part of the conversation. We are the future of the industry, and that's it. So until we meet again, keep serving.